Hey everyone, it's Jason and this is your cruise news update. And we have a passenger that had $6,000 in luggage go into the ocean. Another passenger that was hit by a ceiling tile on a Carnival ship. And do you think this is fair compensation from Royal Caribbean as they denied a passenger boarding that had all their paperwork correct? So cruise story number one, and this is a fear of many travelers, is losing your luggage. You hear about horror stories on airplanes, even on cruise ships. Has it ever happened to you? So this passenger said they were getting off an 11-day cruise on Celebrity Cruises in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And a celebrity employee came up to them and said, "Hey, we're very sorry to tell you this, but your luggage fell in the ocean." Now, upon further explanation, they said they had a pallet jack and the pallet jack basically lost control and many people's luggage dumped into the ocean. Theirs was soft-sided luggage and one of them sank to the bottom. They were able to fish one of them out, but they said everything was ruined. And if you know anything about salt water, it's highly corrosive. So you're probably not going to have that luggage be okay after that. So they said, hey, look, what you need to do is just total everything up. The more information, the better. Pictures, any kind of information of things that you lost. So they said they took the time, they went through everything. They had just gotten off this cruise, so they had pictures of all the dresses and shoes and things that they used on this cruise. And it totaled over $6,000. Now, when they told the story, many people were laughing at this amount. They're saying this is absolutely no way this could happen. But 11 days, they said they dressed formally a number of nights. A dress can cost $500 to $1,000. Shoes, easily $250 to $500. Now, do I dress that way? No. Does my wife? No. But it's absolutely possible. And they said their luggage was worth well over or cost them more than $500 a bag. Very possible. So they did this list, they sent it in to Celebrity, and they said it was taking them forever to respond. And they finally got a response, and they said, we can do $300. Can you imagine? They dropped your luggage into the ocean, said they're going to take care of it, make sure you make this big long list, and they offer you $300. I'm sorry, but that's unacceptable. Now, I asked, did you have insurance? And it doesn't seem like they did. But Celebrity did say, we'll handle it. It's our responsibility. And they gave them $300. They said they've gone back and forth with them, talked to supervisors, talked to managers. What do you guys think? Have you ever had your luggage lost by a cruise line? And did they provide you compensation? So cruise story number two, what would you do if this happened to you? So a passenger related a story that they were on the Carnival Radiance and they were eating at the specialty restaurant Fahrenheit 555. So obviously it's a pay restaurant. They said as they were finishing up their meal, a ceiling tile, as in this picture, you can see the big gap there, fell down and hit their son in the head. So crew members came over immediately, asked if they needed medical assistance. I said, no, I think he's okay. They said they finished up their meal and the crew member brought them, their waiter brought them their bill and they offered them a cheap bottle of champagne. They said it was about an $8 bottle of champagne on land. They asked, should I be insulted by this? And many people thought, and this is where a lot of people are divided on, that Carnival should have comped their meal. And I am one that believes that. Now, I'm not one to go, hey, we missed a port, where's our shipboard credit, things like that. But you could have smoothed things totally over, made it right. There was people that were restaurant owners in the comments saying I would have absolutely offered medical assistance, almost insisted on it, and I would have made sure their meal was comped. Because I want them to come back. Yes, it's a bad experience, but you can smooth that over. Have you ever heard of a story like this? And what would you do if it happened to you? Let me know in the comments. So before I get to cruise story number 3, I would ask that you please like this video and consider subscribing as it does help the channel grow. If you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. So cruise story number 3, and do you think this is fair compensation from Royal Caribbean for a huge mistake on their part? So a family of 5, a mother and 4 kids, were planning a spring break cruise out of Port Canaveral on Royal Caribbean. The mother explained that she had been paying on it for 2 years. She had called Royal Caribbean, making sure all her documentation was completely accurate. She listened to people's advice, came down from North Carolina the day before her cruise, just in case anything happened, stayed in a hotel, had certain expenses, obviously coming down the day before. So they're getting on board, everyone has their birth certificates, and their 16-year-old son has a student ID. And the person checking him in says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, that's not going to be acceptable." She goes, "What do you mean?" "I've done my investigation. I've talked to Royal Caribbean more than once, and they said this was acceptable. And the reason why, doesn't really matter, but the reason why is that he's special needs. So I never went to get him a government-issued ID as of yet." She said, "It doesn't matter. You can't get on board." She goes, "Please get a supervisor." Supervisor comes over, hears that he has a birth certificate, 16, "Sorry, you can't board." Walks away. Doesn't try to call Royal Caribbean up, doesn't try to verify anything. So she's freaking out at the point. Obviously, she spent 2 years paying on this cruise. So she's trying to call her travel agent, trying to call Royal Caribbean. She finally connects with someone. But unfortunately, the ship had already sailed away. And Royal Caribbean at that point admitted, "We're so sorry, it was our mistake. We're obviously going to need to do some training in Port Canaveral, letting them know that we do accept student IDs." Now, I personally called myself, as I am a travel agent, I've said this before, and I book cruises just for myself. And they said, "We 100% accept student IDs." Now, people are blaming this mother in the comments. Royal Caribbean admitted fault, and they're called closed loop sailings. You can have a birth certificate and an ID. Now, here's the wild one is they wanted to fly the family to Cozumel without passports, flying them to Cozumel. From my understanding, you need a passport. So I'm glad she said no thanks to that. They offered her a 100% refund and $700 in onboard credit for her next cruise. She said, "No, thank you. I want my expenses paid for getting down there. It wasn't my fault. It was your fault. You've admitted that it's your fault. You admitted that it's a training issue." They offered her a 100% refund and 25% future cruise credit. And they said if she doesn't accept any of those, that's what they're going to give her. Royal Caribbean, you need to step up and do the right thing. If you don't want to give her expenses, give her a 100% future cruise credit and give her a 100% refund. You do this when you overbook cruises, and you've done this before, and you take care of people. Take care of this family. What do you guys think? And do you think the mother is to blame here? I think she did everything right. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you again for the continued support. And until I talk to you soon, happy cruising.